Cheated on, dumped, and blocked. No closure. Me 30 male. GF 28 male, of 8 months who I loved, left me out of nowhere. Found out later she was cheating on me. For how long I don't know. Contacted her calmly letting her know I know. She panics, deletes the pictures of her and the new guy online, and blocks my number and social medias. But she is still with the guy. There are pics of them on his page. I met an apparently gorgeous and charming lady in December, at the conclusion of my recovery from a severe depression that lasted many years. I finally felt like I had arrived at my growing point, and I happened to meet her soon after. It felt as if God himself was thanking me for persevering in the face of adversity by bestowing upon me the ideal lady. For many years, I had battled with poor relationships and intimacy difficulties, so discovering someone who was able to fully put my mind and body at rest was life-changing for me. We had been dating for around 2 months before making it official. The connection was profound, our closeness was incredible, and I was passionately in love with her, and she said she was also madly in love with me. We did everything together, traveled together, had incredible, and FaceTimed practically every night till 2-3 a.m. on work evenings. She always said I was worth her being tired for work because she loved talking to me. Fast forward to July, and she begins behaving strangely, almost as if she's hiding something. She's more distant, reserved, and snobbish. We literally never fought, but now all of a sudden everything is a problem to her. It seemed as if she was sabotaging herself, as if she wanted to get out but didn't want to be the one to put a stop to it. I didn't see the warning signals since the physical closeness was still there. I guess us men, especially those who have a history of intimacy issues, can have blinders on to red flags if there is good present. Anyway, one day we're sitting on the couch watching TV. As is our custom on Fridays, when she simply gets up, looks at me, and says, "I no longer want to be with you. I don't care about you." This came out of nowhere and rocked my world, particularly with her stern attitude, as I was absolutely caught off guard by it. A lady I adored while things were going well. The 2 weeks of nitpicking weren't long enough for me to doubt anything long-term. So she packs her belongings and departs. I try not to check her social media, contact her, or do anything else other than concentrate on moving on, as much as this hurts. Of course, I gave in and checked. She's already uploading images with a new guy and in a new relationship within a few days, it turns out. It dawned on me that she was cheating on me. It all made sense when her sister visited her for hours at a time and she couldn't even text me back. She was usually an excellent texter. Or when she stayed at the gym until 11 p.m., this really destroyed me. Thank goodness we didn't date for very long, but it still hurt a lot since I loved her. And I had an emotional breakdown and felt like I was dying. I waited until the following morning, when I was calmer, to contact her and tell her I knew what she'd done, since I didn't want her to believe she got away with it by not admitting it. I texted everything calmly, just to let her know I was aware that she had caused me unbearable agony, and that I genuinely felt sorry for her for having to jump from person to guy to avoid being single alone to deal with all of her issues. While I no longer miss her as a person, and would never consider getting back together with her, once a cheater, always a cheater in my opinion, particularly with all of the warning flags being more visible now that we're separated, I am still in a lot of agony because of the lack of closure. She didn't want to face accountability for her actions. She's still with this new guy. She deleted her photos, but there are photos of them on his page. And I'm worried. She doesn't feel any guilt for the pain she caused me, but rather just mild temporary embarrassment for being caught, which is why she deleted her photos and eventually blocked me. Why would she do such a thing? Why would she be with me, claim she loves me, then purposefully self-sabotage by cheating on me and appearing emotionally distant at the end? I feel like I can't go on until I know she's in pain, or feels nothing at all, but either one is still an answer. I'm in this mental limbo, trying to make sense of it all. Everything seemed to be wonderful. She met my family, my friends adored her, and they all agreed that it was the happiest they'd ever seen me with anybody, particularly given everything I'd been through with previous relationships. Then out of nowhere, the rug is yanked out from under me, I'm cast away like trash, and she moves on to a new man. Do individuals like this have a genuine sense of guilt? I don't think her rebound relationship will continue long, particularly because she's attempting to publicize her new life so rapidly on social media. Seems like an emotional compensation if you ask me. In any case, I'm trying my best to detach and move on, but I would give anything to have one last face-to-face chat with her. Just to hear the full truth and figure out why she did this to me. It's tormenting me. Thank you for taking the time to read this. To say the least, this was a rambling update. They've already broken up. Karma. Haha, when I found out, I was out with pals, so we celebrated. I'm really relieved. Thank you everyone for your extremely warm and supportive responses. This month was one of the worst of my life, but knowing karma hit so quickly had to be one of the largest 180s in my attitude. Life is wonderful. After they broke up, she banned me on Instagram. It demonstrates that I was living rent-free in her mind while they were together. She really believed she could get away with it and never be caught, but when I informed her I knew and didn't want vengeance, it tormented her. I promise you that. And she and the new guy are finished in 3.5 weeks. Karma has struck, and things will only become worse for her as I progress in my rehabilitation. I couldn't be happier with how the cosmos works. Last night was the most relieved I've ever felt in my life. Story 2. Me, 32 male, with my wife, 30 female, of 8 years. Her conservative father, 55 male, is destroying our attempts to save our marriage after my wife cheated. I'm not sure why I'm writing here, but I suppose it has something to do with my want to inform someone. At the same small private college where we were both students, my wife and I met in my senior year and became fast friends. I proposed to my girlfriend after a year of dating, as soon as I started my first job after graduation. In retrospect, I realized that we married when we were young, but we had the same religious values and I had never loved someone as much as I had loved her before. Due to my financial success, when my wife got pregnant with our son, 6 male, we decided that she would limit her work hours. She is a substitute teacher for children with disabilities, to 5 hours per week in order to devote her whole attention to our children and our home life. Our second child, 3M, caused my wife to become lonely a year after the birth of our first, so I hired a babysitter and encouraged her to spend more time helping outside the home. My wife confessed to having an affair with an artist who had been hired to work on one of her charity projects, which included teaching painting skills to impoverished children, last year after the romance was discovered. I tried all I can to forgive her, but family is very important to me, and I don't want my children to grow up in a dysfunctional home. The response from my wife has been heartfelt, and she has done all I have requested of her, including DNA testing to establish that my children are mine and returning to full-time job. The problem stems from her father's actions. Her father is a staunch conservative who is a supporter of Donald Trump's presidential campaign. My party has been a Republican for a very long time, but I despise Donald Trump and do not feel he embodies the ideas of a conservative president. While my wife's father believes that Donald Trump will lead the country back to its former glory, I am a Republican because I believe in small business and the free market and believe that Trump's policies would be bad for the economy. Given my interest in local politics, something I've really pushed myself into since my wife's adultery, in a swing state, it's no surprise that my thoughts have received some attention. My father-in-law is angry by this and has called me various pejorative names, all of which I would ignore if it weren't for one, which I find offensive. Despite the fact that he is completely ignorant of his daughter's affair, he seems to get enormous pleasure from this offense. My wife's and her parents' Sunday lunch came to a head last night, and everything came to head. Even though I try not to broach the subject of politics with my father-in-law, he recently launched into an enraged tirade about how Mexicans are invading the United States and sending their worst citizens. When I pointed out that several local businessmen were Cuban immigrants who had made good on the American dream, he began berating me for wanting Mexicans to come over and my wife. The fact that my wife's affair companion was of Mexican descent was completely unknown to him. I made a hasty exit to wait in the car while my wife said her goodbyes to her family members. She apologized to me on the way home, but the incident has been on my mind ever since.